Shalom, gamers. Now, I've made this video roughly 3 times now, and every time I go through it, I realize that the scope that I go for is a little bit too large to cover succinctly. So for this video, I am only going to discuss pathing, type pathing in DM. I think it's called type pathing. You'll understand what I mean in a second, right? But basically, this deals with inheritance and roughly how inheritance works. So let's use a real life analogy of guns for a second, right? All guns share common functionality in that all guns shoot, right? By definition, a gun shoots. Therefore, all guns shoot. They also all share certain characteristics. You know, maybe they all share a barrel or whatever makes a gun, right? They all share certain qualities. The way that DreamMaker is constructed is that you see these paths here everywhere, right? You'll see them all over. They're probably one of the most common things you'll encounter. And these paths work in very similar ways, right? So I'm going to call them type paths or paths. Why they're called that is maybe a little bit out of the scope of this video, but that's roughly what they're called, I think. If I'm wrong, feel free to call me a retard. I understand. But that's what I call them. So you see here that this is consisting of 4 parts, right? Object, item, weapons, gun. And you can think of this as a progression, right? So all items are objects. All weapons are items. All guns are weapons. And if we look at rifles, way back up at the top, all rifles are guns. Now what does this mean? This means that gun inherits all of the qualities from weapon, but weapon does not inherit any of the qualities from gun. Weapon inherits all of the qualities from item, but item does not inherit any of the qualities of weapon. See, so it's a one-way inheritance. So you might be able to throw a gun because items can be thrown, but you can't shoot every single item. Like you can't fire a floor tile because that wouldn't make any sense. So whenever you're thinking about items in DreamMaker, consider their paths, right? And consider, say you want to add a new item to the game, consider what other items have that same functionality. Because if you add another path, let's say I wanted to make, you know, a super duper awesome bazooka. Bazookas shoot, right? So I'm going to find the closest thing to a bazooka that I can that has the functionality that I'd like this bazooka to have, where I only have to make a few changes, right? And I make a bazooka like that. And now bazooka inherits all of the functionality from gun and weapon and item and object, but not the other way around. That will make your life a lot easier. It will make your code a lot more readable, and it is the very, very, very fundamental piece of information you need to have in mind to know what's happening in DreamMaker. So this video is not going to talk about variables or procs because I started talking about variables and procs a little while ago whenever I tried to do this, and it ballooned the video by like 20 minutes, so I decided to restart. And it was also incoherent because I was jumping around so much. So I'm going to make separate videos to discuss what a variable is and why it's important and what it does, and what a proc is and why it's important and why it does, and then eventually tie all 3 of them together whenever I don't have to explain the very nitty-gritty of them anymore. That's it. That is pathing in DreamMaker, why it's important, and just roughly what it means, a brief overview.